As I mentioned, you are the thought leader, and let us discuss rather than talking about RFPs or EOIs and proposals. I'm sure you are all aware of the proposals or RFPs or EOIs. So, अगर पता नहीं है तो the RFE is request for proposal, and EOI is expression of interest. Okay, so proposal everyone of us knows. So yeah, I mentioned it, right? I prefer picking the brains of various chief librarians or librarians here, so that let us learn from each other. So yeah, so why questions matter? I mean, instead of answers, because questions are key basically. Especially for critical thinking. So in the context of RFEs or proposals, or expression of interest, in my opinion, based on my experience, so critical thinking is important, and you have to have several questions to really go through the proposals or to understand the proposals. So that's the background. So now there is a scenario now. So I am from, say, I'm a librarian, chief librarian of a university in, say, Latur. Sir ने अभी Latur बताया, तो let us take the example of Latur. And so the scenario is like this. You want to buy, you in the sense university, okay? So university wants to buy, or your college maybe. University wants to buy a language lab software for your college. Okay. So what will you do? That's my question. You can take 1 minute and think anything. I mean, no answer is wrong, and it all depends on the context, in fact. So what will you do? Chandrasekhar, you would like to take you would like to give answer. So you are a chief librarian, and PC asks you that okay,
yeah.
libraries के लिए e-resources add करना है, and so what will you do, Chandrasekhar?
I generally, first thing what I do is, I Google and I try to find some good, the established language lab providers, software providers in the Google. Then probably I might reach out. This is one of the, directly if I need to reach out, I'll reach out. Of course, I may be sounding absolutely not like librarian probably.
No.
Because
Absolutely.
I generally don't know how does that work actually. I mean, the system, the buying system or buying, how exactly it works, I'm not sure. But if I were there, definitely I would have Googled it and find some, list some good language lab software companies, and I would mail them. Would
Okay.
request for this
So
one. That's what I
what
do.
else? हमारा लातूर का सर तो है आज. So sir ji, what will you do if say vice chancellor and committee decides, and so university is going to buy a language lab software, e-resource मान लीजिए आप, for the library, and so VC said, or principal sir said that librarian sir is the in charge, and how do you go about? So Chandrasekhar is a librarian, and he is going to search in the Google, and going to reach out to people. So I am okay even if you take time. So anybody would like to give a thought?
I think Pradeep has joined. Dr. Netra, what has something to say, sir?
Yeah, please.
Yeah, Netra, please.
Yes, sir. So yeah, this is the first way we can find out some good software, means like open access and all, and then we can make a list of that particular software. And then one thing is required, that the budget of exact budget of our.
Awesome.
So we need to find out the budget and the utility of the software. If the software is really user friendly, so then we can put it in front of the management. Yeah, this is the software and all. So the thing is that proposal we required. Na, ki, yes, these are the softwares. Some are open access software, means open access software. Some are means like how much we need to pay for that.
Mm-hmm.
So the list of, particularly firstly we want a list of the software which are
Mm-hmm.
provide the facility to the library, and then we need to find out the services which they provide us, means to the
Mm-hmm.
librarian, and are they really the user friendly. So if it is
Mm-hmm.
we can fulfill this requirement from the
Mm-hmm.
software, then we can make the proposal. And I think we need a blueprint of that exactly, so what it
Okay.
will do, and
Awesome. Awesome. Ma'am,
this is that.
I yeah,
now,
one second,
see,
sir.
you are a buyer now.
Just a second, sir. I think Rajashri also wants to say something. Rajashri, just add on to it. No problem.
Yeah.
Hello, good morning,
Yes,
sir.
sir. Good morning,
Good
Rajashri.
morning.
As Chandrasekhar sir said, first we will do Google, that is okay. But I will come, first I will take the notes about that. Means, first of all, what is the lab language software that I will search? I will
Mm-hmm.
learn about that. And in
Mm-hmm.
some softwares, their clientele list they provide. Then I will go
Mm-hmm.
through that list, and around my area, which libraries are having that software, I will
Mm-hmm.
contact them. I will take
Mm-hmm.
inputs from them and what are their experiences, how they work it, and how it is effective. All their things I will ask them. Then I will compare all these various software. Then I can give the proposal to our management. That's it.
Great.
Okay.
Awesome, ma'am. Awesome. I mean, that's wonderful thought. In fact, okay, I'm jotting down. Okay, I'm literally writing down whatever people are mentioning. Okay, so yeah, anybody else? So now the scenario is that you are the chief librarian of a university in Latur, Maharashtra, and vice chancellor and your committee decided that you want to buy a language lab software for your college or for your university. So being a chief librarian, what will you do? That is the question. That is the scenario. Any other thoughts? So now, yeah.
Um, Sorry. Sorry. Samila, I think Samila Das need to mute herself. Yep.
Okay. So now there are three thoughts actually. So Chandrasekhar, librarian of Latur University, he said he will Google first. Okay. So he will Google. And then Dr. Netra ma'am, she's,
Go on, sir. Go on. Go on.
yeah. So she mentioned about Chandrasekhar mute.
Yeah,
Please
yeah. I
mute.
did. I did. I
Yeah.
muted her.
So
Yeah.
Netra ma'am said that she will make a list of software services which are available, and and she even considers the costing as well. Okay, so and also she will check whether these softwares, e-resources, let us consider as a e-resources, and whether these are user friendly. And one more thing ma'am mentioned is about whether she was very keen about the cost, I think, and whether these are openly
Oh,
available, open source,
Open access software.
open access softwares. So she mentioned about that as well. So Rajashri ma'am, so she's like the next step of Chandrasekhar. So she said she will Google, and in fact take a notes on various software providers and what are the softwares they provide, and she would like to really study hard and then understand better, and then she would like to check which are who are the service providers near Latur, in the sense in the nearby area, wherever it may be. And what else? I think she would like to take the list of clientele, and she would like to check with the librarians or the universities or colleges where the software is being used. Anything else? Anything else? Any other thoughts? So we have almost 40-45 people today.
Good morning,
So
sir.
yeah.
good
Good
morning.
morning, sir.
Yes,
Good
very
morning.
good
Uh,
morning.
I I will prefer, sir, after to adding to Netra, after seeing the budget, I
Mhm,
will make the short list of the softwares available, and
Mhm,
mhm,
also inquiring with the nearby colleges and
mhm,
mhm,
taking their opinion. I
mhm,
will go to the three top softwares, and I
mhm,
will request them for the demo.
Wonderful,
uh,
wonderful, wonderful.
so that they will explain it that properly. So we will prepare one committee, and we will go through that demo, and we will see their cost, or if possible they will now always they will give the free trial version for
Mhm.
the users. So
Mhm.
after that we will decide, and we will take the proposal to the head of the institution.
Wonderful.
Wonderful, wonderful,
Dr.
wonderful.
Dr. Rajita, sir.
Chandrasekhar, I think Dr. Rajata ma'am, right?
Yeah,
I
yeah,
can't see it.
Yes,
yeah,
yes
Dr.
sir,
Rajita.
yes sir.
Yeah.
Based on the voice, I guessed it, in fact, anyway. Yeah, great. I mean, thank you, ma'am. So, Rajata, Dr. Rajata, ma'am from SDM. So, I think it's really brilliant thought because she's pretty practical, and I'm sure ma'am has got some experience in buying, I hope. So she said, she will list down 3 top software providers and then ask them to give a demo. And in the demo, you can have a detailed discussion about the cost, and there will be a committee. And I'm sure, in the committee there will be people from technical side, and she will ask the free trial. Nowadays, a lot of free trials are being given by the service providers. Okay, so I think we covered fair enough. So now let me explain with one of my experience. So I used to work with one of the department named Social Welfare Department in Karnataka. So let me explain you how they did, and probably how we can take some cues from that process. So they wanted to purchase they wanted to purchase English proficiency course, okay, for all their hostels. So there are 85 hostels, and more than 85,000 students are there in Karnataka. So they all stay in the hostels. So now that is a requirement. Okay. Now think that you want to buy a language lab software. Okay. No. Similarly, the IAS officer or the secretary of Social Welfare Department said, he called a meeting and he said, okay, now we have to buy a good English proficiency course for all our students. And the students are there in the hostels across Karnataka, and 85,000 students are there. So that is the requirement. Now, so what happens is, if they go and Google, that is also correct. That's also correct. And if a person, say a director or somebody from Social Welfare Department, he searches Google and reach out to people, and and call 3 service providers, that is also correct. However, it may not be very suitable, and not pretty effective. So what they did was, they did something called expression of interest. Okay, let me come to RFE later. First, what they did was, they called for expression of interest. Now, what do you mean by expression of interest? They said, okay, Karnataka government, Social Welfare Department, we would like to buy, a good English proficiency course. See, I'm repeating, a good English proficiency course, and the budget is something in this range, and there are 85,000 students in about 80 something hostels. Okay, that's the requirement. So what they did was, they floated it, or they floated on the in the paper, basically in the newspapers. And even Karnataka government, there's one tender platform is also there. So there also, they floated a EOI. So now what happens is, so this is the general requirement. Okay, so now we don't know, in the market there may be several really great service providers who can really make effective training it may be face to face, it may be blended, it may be online, it may be with content, it may be AI supported language learning tool like Language, is it not? So you don't want to miss those things. You don't want to really miss any of these things, and you would like to understand in detail. So that is the whole idea of expression of interest. So UI में क्या करते हैं? You will not say that the technical requirements are this, and this is how you have to do, and all those stuff you will not talk. What you do is you say, okay, Mr. Service Provider, why don't you talk about your service, and you tell me how effectively you can give the service to my department, or to my university. Okay, now coming back abhi kya hai? Now I am a chief librarian of Latur University, and my university would like to buy a language lab software. So language lab software may be, in my understanding, I mean, as a librarian, my understanding is that any language lab software is more of a traditional one. There will be a lab, and the students can listen, and there will be a language lab teacher. So what I do is I will reach out to language. When I Google, Chandrasekhar said, Google. So when I Google language lab softwares in Maharashtra, and then I will Google language lab software service providers in India. So you will get four different service providers who who will basically search engine में top में आते हैं, and you will reach out to them. Now you may miss somebody else who may be really good, is it not? So now what you do is, being a chief librarian, you float a UI. कहाँ float करते हैं? It may be any government or private, or in any newspaper. You float one ad. Okay, so saying that I'm a university. I mean, we are a university in Latur, and we would like to buy a language lab software. That's it. See, your outcome is, your students, they have to really be good in English proficiency. Okay, now what happens is, now somebody from a traditional language lab will come. So he will come and say, okay, sir, I'm going to give, he will come and give a detailed presentation. So he will come and say that okay, so I will give you 60 access, and your students can practice speaking, and there will be exam, there will be content for the teachers and teacher console, etc., whatever it may be. And then Language will come. So they say, why only in inside university? Why you want to really allow your students to study only in inside the university? In the sense, you have 60 computers and you have 5,000 students, and why don't you give access to everyone? I mean, why don't you make it online, so that the students can learn from their hostel or their home? So now you have another option. Okay, ये भी है, ये पता नहीं था, ठीक है, ये भी है. So now somebody else will come. So he will say that, okay, why only LSRW skills? We will give you grammar, text, and style analysis with content certification, etc. Okay, so now somebody else will come. So he will say, nahi, so हमारे पास content है, we will train you online, and there will be 5-6 different type of service providers. Now आप क्या करेंगे? So now you got to know, ठीक है, there is something called AI, artificial intelligence. In English में भी वो भी है, and machine learning is also there, and you have blended learning, you have online, offline. So you will come to know about different types of services and new innovations in the industry. Okay, now what you do is, you call a meeting inside the university. vice chancellor hai or technical people are also there, you are also there, and English HOD ma'am is also there, and you call everybody and explain to them, okay, Langquill hai, and you have another traditional software, you have something else here, so you have Hindu which will give you only online, so these are all the costs. So what should we do now? So they even a broad range of pricing or budgeting also you collect. Now what will you decide? ठीक है. So 5,000 students are there. I have only 30 computers, and if at all I have to train my students in English proficiency, ये ट्रेडिशनल तो नहीं होने वाला है, because our since there are 5,000 students, so they will get 1 hour or 2 hours in the entire year. And the second thing is, in Latur, what happens is, the students come, they come from all rural area, from the small places. They come by bus, and morning they come at about 10 o'clock, and they have to leave at about 5 o'clock. So in that particular time, I have to accommodate my students in my language lab. So वो तो नहीं होने वाला. So it's always better we go for online language lab itself. Now the question is, if it is online language lab, then at what cost? What are the services? ठीक है. अभी now in fact Rajeshri ma'am talked about the clientele list, and Dr. Netra ma'am talked about the costing. And Dr. Rajata ma'am talked about the demo committee, etc., etc. वो सब आएगा now. Now Dr. Rajata ma'am mentioned one of the very important thing here. 3 top software providers. Okay, so why three top software providers? Mainly because you want to choose the best, and you want to really, you want to compare, you want to really bargain the costing, and you want to really look for the value addition and return on investment. Okay, on return on investment. Okay, now let us go back to our the example of social welfare department. What happened was अगर उन लोगों ने गूगल करके, if they had reached out to couple of people, they would have not got the real solution, or the awesome solution, or the great solution. So what happened was, they called all the companies, every company, they came and pitched their solution, and then they floated the request for proposal for a blended learning model. Okay, blended learning model. I was also one of the company participated in that particular RFE. Okay, now let us come to request for proposal. Okay, I mentioned about example of UI and its content example. Okay, give me 1 second. Okay, I will open.
Sir, what is UI, sir?
UI is expression of interest. Okay. So can you see Chandrasekhar?
Yeah, we can.
So this is one of the example. This is the one of example. I would like to repeat. Okay, expression of interest is, sir, basically I have an interest. I have one requirement, and why don't you give? It's open. It's very open ended. Okay, RFQ is more of specific, and EOI is more of general. Okay, you want to really explore. You want to really check what is there in the market, or who are all the service providers. Okay, Avi, there are 2 things I'm going to talk. Okay, now you are the receiver of a proposal. Okay, now you are standing in the shoe of a receiver of a proposal, and then after a few minutes I'm going to talk about, you are going to be the writer of the proposal, or you are going to submit a proposal. I hope you are getting my point. So there are 2 aspects now. Now you are standing in the shoe of a reviewer of a proposal. आप लातूर यूनिवर्सिटी का librarian है, and you want to check the proposal. Okay, so these are all the just examples. So if you Google, you will get hundreds of EOIs or expression of interest. So let us go to UNCDF का एक ये दिखाता हूँ आपको. I will show you expression of interest. Okay, just give me a second. This is loading. Yeah. So here, if you really see, they just talk about the organization. So for example, मैं लातूर का university हूँ and our university is like we have 5,000 students and we have programs in BA, BCom, engineering, etc., and we are innovative university, and of course we are there in Latur for the last 40 years, something like that. Okay, so hamara ranking bhi NRF ranking is 85, something like that. I give a brief background about who I am, about the organization, and then who can apply. You want the service providers only from Maharashtra, whether you want the service, because so that they can give the service. I mean, you want to buy a language lab software and you want the people they have to apply only from Maharashtra. You want the native language support, so you want only Marathi language as a supporting language. So I mean, along with English, I'm talking about, especially in content. So it depends on the, your requirement, and you have to jot down the eligibility. Okay. So expression of interest is more open. So itna hi bata diya in logon ne. So they said, we are United Nations Capital Development Fund, and ye ek EOI hai, and this is about some SHGs and all. And this is the applicant, and this is what you have to do. So these are the things are expected. Okay, so if you come to language lab UI, okay, अगर मैं librarian हूँ तो मैं बताता हूँ कि okay, there should be LSRW, there should be features to practice LSRW skills, and my students, they have to write and practice, they have to go through the content, and the software should have say assessments, something like that I will tell. Okay, so depending on my requirement, I will mention, and then you will talk about eligibility. That's it, how to apply. And you also talk about last date, kab submit karna hai. So that, see, there is no fixed format here. Okay, so it all depends on your requirement. Okay, now let us go to tender and UI. So let us look at RFE. So RFE is more specific. Okay, so yeah, let us look at Care India. So see, in RFE, in fact, of course, they will give you a detailed RFE document as well. Okay, I have already downloaded document. I will share it after this discussion. So here in RFE, okay, they talk about even technical and financial bid, in the sense आपको already पता है क्या चाहिए आपको. I mean, who are all the service providers in the market, and you know what exactly you want. You don't want a traditional language software. You want probably online language lab, something like language. So that is what you need. So the specifics of technical aspects. So आपको पता है, and then you will ask for even financial bid and a detailed full RFE as well. Okay, scope of work is here, and the detailed RFE document also you will give, and you will give a detailed financial format for financial bid as that as well. You will provide. Okay, let me come back. So, now, once again, it's about the discussion. I mean, we fairly discussed about, the difference between expression of interest and RFE. I would like to mention again that expression of interest is more general. So you want to really explore what are the services available in the market. And then in the RFE, what you do is, you will dig down. You will come to specific questions, like about the technical aspects or financial aspects or service aspects. Now I would like to hear some of the examples, because today we have more than 40-45 participants here. I'm sure you will be having an experience of buying couple of softwares or anything. I mean, e-journals, e-resources, etc. So what is your experience? Anybody? Rajata ma'am? Hello?
Yeah, we can hear. I can hear you, sir, but I think we would open it to the floor. People who are there in
Yeah,
the profession, they definitely know it better.
yeah. I mean,
I think we
any
have.
thoughts, any experiences जो आपने RFE float करके या EOI float करके कुछ buy किया था? I'm sure chief librarians they always go for tenders, and I'm sure. Anybody?
I would like to hear from Pradeep. In fact, Pradeep,
Yeah.
you there?
Yeah. Because my next question is basically, depending on your experience itself. So, yeah.
Not sure, not sure about it. Yeah, Appa Sahib is on this
Great.
one. Yes, sir. Continue. Hello.
See, today, in fact, see, we are talking about RFE, EOI, and then we will come to proposals. Because abhi kya hua hai? Now we are in Latur University, and हमने EOI float करके, RFE float करके, we have floated a RFE. Now the companies or service providers are going to submit the proposals now. So my question is whether, being chief librarians, whether you have any experience of buying these types of anything. I mean, may not be a software, but it may be journals, it may be books, it may be
May I say?
e-resources. Yes.
Yeah, sir, we have inquired about Koha software,
Yeah,
Mhm.
this is Rajeshri.
and for that we have inquired to two service provider agencies. So is that the type of expression of interest?
Perfect. Yes. 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 You are right.
Yes, sir. And
You are
after
right.
that, they agreed to give demo in front of our management, institute,
Mhm.
university management, and all
Mhm.
librarians of the university. So
Mhm.
we have just inquired, and further process is still in the process.
Awesome. Awesome. Anybody else? We would like to, hear from you, in fact.
Hello, may I speak?
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
please.
Rajeshri here.
Yeah, Rajeshri.
Yes, sir. Few years back, when we thought about the barcode technology to apply for our library software, barcode
Mhm.
printer and scanner, we had to buy that time. What I
Mhm.
thought that time, instead of barcode, I will go for RFID. That will be more, that will be better
Super.
than barcode.
Mhm.
That's why what I did, I
Mhm.
collected all information about barcode and RFID. I
Mhm.
compared both the barcode and RFID technology,
Mhm.
considering various criteria, and I
Mhm.
could forward it to our management. Even I kept demo for RFID.
Mhm.
Our principal also got satisfied about that RFID. He got impressed actually RFID technology. He also liked. Even I also like to buy. But the main question was about the cost. It is much costlier than barcode.
Mhm.
Then management thinks about that also, no, for them. So they want to buy whatever will be cheaper
Mhm.
or more
Mhm.
effective like that. Then finally we didn't go for RFID technology, but still today I think I should have gone for that RFID. because that will be better for kiosk and all these. Also, we could have improved, no? In barcode, so it's just we are doing, but it there is difference between both these technologies. But that is the thing still I have in my mind. But after some years, also I try to get give the proposals to get sanction from management. But still, I didn't get any approval from higher authorities. Then these are the things actually happens with librarians. That only I wanted to share.
Super. Ma'am, two things I would like to appreciate. One, you really shared your experience. And second thing is, the very important thing I would like to mention here is that, you have a great there is something called taking initiative. So it is required for our education leadership. So, yeah, definitely, ma'am. I mean, this is very much required, and I really appreciate you because see, one technology which is already available, but you wanted to go for RFID and studied RFID, and instead of barcode, why should not we tried RFID? So, I mean, I really appreciate this initiative. So, anybody else? Anybody else would like to, so what happens is we all being librarians or being faculty or anybody, I mean any role, what we do is we think in our framework or in our boundaries. Okay, now ma'am could have told that okay, barcode aisa available hai, and she could have sent it to management. मगर मैम ऐसा नहीं किया. So what she did was she thought beyond her boundaries and went to research more and identified some more barcode technology providers, or there's something called RFID technology providers, and that is exactly is needed. And the intention of our discussion is also the same. I mean, it is to ignite, in fact. Okay, so yeah, please, anybody else would like to share anything? Anybody else? ठीक है. Now, Chandrasekhar, now, in fact, the scenario is like this. So, so Rajeshri ma'am hai, and ma'am basically, she thought of going for RFID, and RFID, basically RFE was UI was called. Okay, expression of interest was called. RFE was floated. Okay, and then people have submitted couple of proposals. Ma'am talked about costing. So costing is one of the factor which you will look in the proposal, right? I mean, you will definitely check the costing, but costing is one aspect. That's it, because the costing always depends on the value propositions, right? So we have to look at ROI, right? Return on investment. So what are the other things you look in a proposal? So anything, I mean, no answer is wrong, please. So you can talk about,
after service,
yeah,
after sales
yeah.
services.
So now RFID service का, team लोगों ने, they have submitted the proposal. Now being a librarian, you are the in charge of a committee, and you please let me know what are the things you will check when, say, Satish has submitted a proposal to ma'am, Rajeshri ma'am now. So you are the chief librarian, and yeah. So yeah, the proposal is on your table. So what are the things? Cost is one of the factor. Rajeshri ma'am said, cost is one of the factor she would like to check. So what are the other things you are going to look in the proposal?
I think Mr. Dharma wants to add. Sindhu, Dharma.
Please.
Yes, sir.
Yep.
Am I audible?
Yeah,
Yeah.
you are. Please.
Yeah. Okay. Usually now we go for new EOI, like expression of interest for the tender, like book supply vendors.
Correct.
So usually we go for some bulk amount of purchase and all. we can call the UI for the various people who are all interested in
Correct.
the quotation process and all.
Correct. Correct. Perfect.
After we receive, we can do technical bidding and financial bidding, and we can shortlist them. This process and all involved in the UI process. But I actually I'm hearing this RFP is a new term.
Okay.
Yeah. No, see, these are all not standards, ma'am. In fact, what happens is, so this is a process, in fact, mostly followed by the universities or even the governments or even in the corporate sector. So, so it depends on the entity. It depends on the college or the firm, in fact, whether they have to go for UI or they have to go for RFE. So yeah. So as I mentioned, UI is more of a general thing. So if you already know who are all the book suppliers, you would like to just go for a UI, and already it's your experience
Yes.
saying that ऐसा books है and this is the normal rate, and you would like to give for a good service provider who can give you good costing and deliver in time. So whereas if it is bit complex, so for example आपका university के लिए, say for example you want to purchase alumni engagement software. So if I am sitting in, say, Latur, I may not be really aware of them. I don't think there are service providers in or nearby Latur who can give you alumni engagement software. So during that time, what you do is you will go for UI first. You will figure out who are all the service providers, and then you come to very specific things, the technical things, and whether it has to be a cloud based, whether it has to be it has to work on the mobile, or how many students are there and all those stuff. I mean, you will go for RF. Basically, you will go for request for proposal, RFE.
Okay.
Yeah. So that is. I mean,
one more thing is that Rajeshwari ma'am, I added like this RFID technology when compared to barcode technology. Yes, absolutely true, sir. Because when we are using that barcode and all, we may face some problems. We can't find the students like who are all taking the books outside without our knowledge. So those issues and all occur in the barcode. But in case of RFID, we can easily find them. It's
Great.
like, yeah.
Awesome. Ma'am, my question is, ma'am, to you in fact, अभी आपने RFID का एक RFE बनवाया और तीन कंपनियां they have submitted their proposals. So the proposals are on your table, ma'am. So
okay, sir.
what do you think? What are the things you have to really check?
The first thing is that we have to compare the proposals, like where it's varied, the prices, what specifications they have, and when differentiate the among these three proposals.
Yeah, please. Correct.
What is the advanced features they have, why they were giving higher side.
Correct.
So we can check every aspect and we can go for the best one. That is my best suggestion, sir.
Awesome. I mean, perfect. So anybody else, whether anybody else has any thoughts?
Sir, may I?
Please.
Sir, actually, when we get the proposal, after demo and all, we will get the proposal. We will see the use, how easily we can use, because the benefit is more, but the use, how easily we can use, that is very important in the software. And the second thing is, when compared to the barcode and RFID, that cost is really more, and the benefits are more in RFID, but it is benefited more to the librarians part, and we can do the cost effective when the users will use the library more. Then we can prove that to the higher officials, authority, that yes, it is useful, because there comes always usage is more important. When if cost is there, that is important. For example, even I tried for, so as you said, that alumni software,
Correct. Perfect.
and
All
I
right.
made a one committee, and we gone for the demo and all.
Uh-huh.
And
Uh-huh.
after that, being a technical institute, we
Mm-hmm.
decided that we will
Mm-hmm.
not go for now
Mm-hmm.
for that, because it is a cloud based, very big institutions they can afford. Now
Mm-hmm.
ours is just budding institute. So
Mm-hmm.
the by the discussion with the committee, we decided that now we will get the alumni registration through one form, and we will put it in our website,
Mm-hmm.
and they will register there, and we will make because earlier batches students, we don't get their details. Now we made it as compulsory. When they are going out, they have
Mm-hmm.
to fill that Google form, then only they will get the no due from the library.
Oh,
Actually,
okay.
there it is connected.
Okay.
So that we made it compulsory. And
Mm-hmm.
also we made it compulsory for the students to get their mask card. They have
Mm-hmm.
to register in the LinkedIn profile.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
That is the
Mm-hmm.
compulsory. So because they will contact with their seniors, and the
Mm-hmm.
seniors will guide the juniors. So we will now decided that that is the better thing. We have to make some group of students
Mm-hmm.
through our Google form and LinkedIn profile. After
Mm-hmm.
that, for higher version, we can go for the software, any other additional features if they are having. At
Mm-hmm.
present, we thought we don't have that contact with the students. First, we will collect the contact, and then we will go for that. So, when we will
Mm-hmm.
give the proposal, in my view, the usage is very important. So, then
Mm-hmm.
only it is cost effective, and it
Wonderful.
is
Wonderful.
easy in managing. That is the thing.
Great. 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 I think Chandrasekhar.
I am very happy because that
Yes,
Rajita
yes.
spoke
I
for a
think
while.
we
You
have
know, the flaw.
stalwarts, right?
I was,
Chandrasekhar.
yeah,
You
yeah.
are mentioning that, Satish is a expert. You see here, I mean, there are emperors here. I mean, you are talking about only kings.
No, no.
Okay.
Moreover, I'm happy that she could speak in a flawless language, in a confident way, fluently for almost. This is what it's all about. The topic you brought because you want her to speak, right? So known
Yes.
topics, people do speak fluently, confidently, errorlessly. That's the best part actually. I was just trying to find some kind of an error in her actually, so that I can
No,
take
there are
that
two
particular
angles.
part,
No,
but
no, no, no. There are two
flawless.
angles. You
Yep.
are looking at,
Yeah,
the
please,
speaking
please
part.
let me know, sir.
I mean, grammar teacher in me, Dr. Rajata, don't mind, okay? Grammar teacher in me actually always
Yes,
spots the error, where I can get a room for
no, no,
next
sir.
class.
This is actually needed. Actually, I am heading that here in our college, the Orators Club. It
Okay,
is act like a Toastmasters Club.
wow.
So there, I
That's
am missing only the grammar part. That
okay.
is
We
why
have a
I.
Toastmaster also here, Satish. This is going to be a nice platform for the debate, actually. Okay, we can have an excellent platform. Anyway,
Yes.
Toastmaster also here. We can continue. Sorry, continue,
Yes.
Satish.
Yeah, yeah. So there are two aspects, Chandrasekhar. So, I am looking, of course, grammar teacher in you is talking about definitely about grammar and English. Whereas, since I'm talking about,
True, true,
proposals,
true.
RFEs, and as ma'am mentioned, so ma'am will look into usage part and cost part and benefit part. And she gave an excellent example of alumni engagement software. I think, and Chandrasekhar, one more thing,
Mhm.
whether today is the International Women Day?
I'm sorry, I'm bad at these days, sir. I mean, I know that
No,
this
Because
is
here
something.
you women's
I,
are
I,
more
I'm
active, no?
sure it is not, but we are hearing only from Dr. Netra ma'am and Dr. Rajini ma'am and Dr.
Oh, this
Rajita.
is my.
So that is why I'm just wondering.
This is the best one actually, Satish. I mean, I appreciate it. This is nice fun, you know.
Actually, anyway, so only Chandrasekhar is talking. However, anyway, so let us celebrate, International Women Day. Anyway, so coming back, okay, coming back. Where see, we are at a stage now. You are a chief librarian. You are a chief librarian of a university. Okay, now. There are three proposals. There are three proposals on your table. So what are the things you are going to check? So why? The question is why we should bother about this? Why? Why we should really understand the parameters we have to look into? Two very, very important things. One, being a purchaser, being a chief librarian, being head of the committee or being a decision maker or being the influencer who can influence the decision of a buyer or a VC or a principal, sir. So you must and should know what are the things you have to look into in the proposals. Okay. And second thing, now I don't know whether you are. I'm sure you many of you are aware that if at all you want to conduct some research with the government or in any support CSR supported grants, if you want to avail, okay, you can directly do that. When I say you, any educational institute can submit a proposal for education, I mean research purpose. So for getting grants with the government or with the CSR funds or with any research agencies. Okay, there are so many research agencies. So I can talk about, IARI, Indian Agriculture Research Institute, or ICRISAT, or there are so many if you take the agriculture domain. So similarly, you have so many different organizations which can support your educational institute for research purpose. So for that, you have to submit a grant proposal. Okay, so being a writer of a grant proposal, you should know what are the things you have to ensure. I'm going to repeat. So there are two things. You are standing in the shoe of a buyer. Okay, being a buyer, you should know what are the things you have to look into in the proposal, especially, inside the proposal, what are the things you have to check. That is first thing. Second, definitely days are changing. Every educational institute, they have to be self-sustainable, and there are so much of opportunities outside. Okay, I'll show you. It's not only the statements. I will show you where you can apply. I can give one or two examples as well. Now you are going to be a writer of a proposal, or it may be for research or it may be for a grant. Okay, so now, okay, being a librarian, always we all love books, and the best book is Persuasive Business Proposal by Stant. You can Google it. If you have in your library, please refer to this, and it will be useful for you, or you can hand it over to the right people in your organization, in the sense, who are going to take the decisions on the buying or the proposals. Okay. Now, I mean, these are all very, very general. There are no templates here. There are no specific questions here. It all depends on
Your requirement.
the context and the requirement.
Yeah.
Okay. Some of the questions may be relevant. Some of the questions may not be relevant. However, Chandrasekhar, I always would like to, say the profound the profound statement is questions are more important than the answers. You should know what are the questions you have to ask. So let us look at the questions. Now see, Chandrasekhar, I am a chief librarian. Okay, I am Dr. Rajita ma'am now, and I am sitting in my chamber, and three companies have submitted a proposal for alumni engagement software now. Okay, Chandrasekhar. Now, what are the things I have to look at? So ma'am already talked about costing. So in my opinion, I mean, it's my personal opinion, the costing definitely we should look at, but before that we should always look at the other other things like value proposition, features, all many things, because cost depends on so many things, right? Cost depends on so many things. The real question to be asked is whether the proposal which the service provider has submitted is relevant to me or not, relevant to my requirement or not. That is very important, Chandrasekhar. Okay, so I'll give you an example, Chandrasekhar. See, just now we took one example of Latur University, right, Chandrasekhar?
Right.
Now I am a chief librarian of a Latur University, and I have 3,000 students, and I have a language lab of 40 computers, and there are 3 proposals, Chandrasekhar. Okay, so there's one online language lab which has given 5 lakh. Okay, and then another a traditional language lab where the students they have to come to the lab, and they have to practice. There they have quoted say 4.25 lakhs, and another traditional language lab has quoted 4 lakhs. So what do you think, Chandrasekhar? Whether I should consider the 4 lakh one?
Again, that depends on the various thing, right? I mean,
Exactly. So I have to really check.
Yeah.
I have to really check. So whether my students can, use the software online in sitting at their home. So that is one of the important usage, right? Ma'am was talking about usage and cost, right? Now let us look at the questions, because I don't have much time. Is the proposal too vague or abstract? See, what happens is, being a service provider, it may be very vague. So now alumni engagement software, so maybe very vague, right? I mean, you don't know, vague in the sense, it may not be having all the features. Okay. So now you are the reviewer. You are standing in the shoes of a reviewer of a proposal, and you are looking at these, questions. Okay. Are the facts accurate? So I think somebody mentioned about who are all the clientels, and you would like to check with them. So that is
maybe a cooked up story, right? Yeah.
yes. Are there, whether is it a cooked up story? Are the recommendations supported by sufficient evidence, examples, and details? अगर लातूर में if I want to buy that alumni engagement software, whether somebody has purchased it in Maharashtra, so that I have to really check and ask them to whether in the proposal they have mentioned about Aurangabad University, whether they say I am a chief librarian of a SDM, and agar Canara group has purchased this, or anybody in a well-known group has purchased this. Sufficient evidence, examples, and details. Are there too many details without an overview or sense of perspective? ऐसे ही कहानी लिख दिया क्या? Whether they have written 30 pages, but only stories are there. Okay. Is there any central and see, these questions are very general. I mean, the questions may differ context to context. Only thing is you have to jot down a couple of questions and really check the proposal in detail. Okay. So yeah, I mean, these are all some of the what you can say
Important questions
you have to look at.
Yeah.
Okay, so this is important when you are submitting a proposal. Okay, for example, are there mistakes in grammar, usage, spelling, names, and addresses? So when you are writing a proposal, you also have to take care of these things. You have to make the sentences clear and readable. Okay, so now you are buying a alumni engagement software, and are the specific goals, or whether goals are clear? Alumni engagement से क्या होता है? So I should get some outcome, right? I should get some benefits. So whether it's a community engagement feature is available, whether I can reach out to my alumni for my placements, whether those features are already available or not. So that is a specific. I mean, your goal has to be very specific. Is it not, Chandrasekhar?
Correct.
So.
Correct.
Yeah. So are the general goals are clear? How will the proposed idea solve our needs? See, if you want to buy alumni engagement software, your whole goal is, to connect with your alumni and get the benefits out of it. So what are the benefits? What are the outcomes you want? You want internship for your students and you want placement for your students. Maybe in some cases, you are also looking for the financial support or donations from your old students. If you really see, IASC alumni or IIM alumni, so it's a huge network where they will support you in each and every activity. So they may want, you want to engage your alumni in sharing their knowledge. So whether the service provider, whether his software or his solution can solve my needs, whether वो clear है कि नहीं. Okay. So yeah, so I think somebody talked about differentiation. I think Dr. Rajata ma'am herself, she talked about differentiate how what is the USP? What is that, the thing in that particular solution that can help me to solve my problems. Okay. Now, yeah, does the so these are all the questions. I mean, there's no template, ready template. In fact, okay. Only thing is you have to really check whether it serves the purpose or not. Okay. So when you are writing a proposal, you should take care of these things. It is not only you are standing in the shoes of a reviewer and looking at it. However, when you sit writing for an internal proposal or when you are writing a proposal for an outside agency, then you have to be very clear on these aspects. No worries. I'm going to send a PDF format to everyone, so you have a lot of things. However, there are so many questions. I have taken the questions from that particular document itself, and these things will help you to some extent at least. So these questions will ignite the mind to look for other possibilities, other angles. Now, okay, so has a specific management plan. Yeah, I mean, okay. Can you give some examples of the proposals you write? Have you ever written a grant proposals or research proposals? I will show you the grant proposal one or two, but before that, I would like to hear from you. Any proposal need not be grant proposal or research proposal because that's only two things I know. So that's why I'm mentioning any proposal you have written. Yeah, the question is for the audience. The question is whether you have written any proposal. It is okay. I mean, it may be internal proposal, a proposal for say more grant for the library or proposal for more computers for the library or proposal to support say your college library or you might have asked for some grants or support or yeah. I don't know. I mean, I'm just mentioning.
I'll take some name randomly. Prasad, I'm sure Prasad has a lot to add actually because he's been adding in the group. I
Yes,
would
yes.
prefer him to speak though. Prasad, please unmute yourself and please express the same thing. Whatever you have mentioned on the group, actually you can express here itself.
Hello, sir.
Yes,
Actually,
ma'am.
I have given proposal to our management only to sanction some amount for writing research papers to publish in various journals and all these things. I keep writing for various. I attend all national, international conference also. Till now, I have written, I think, around 15 research papers I have written and got it published. So for that, I have given a proposal to our management to sanction at least minimum 5,000 rupees per year for this purpose. And in between, I got sanctioned also. After COVID, they have stopped it, but again, we will try to get it back. Actually, that proposal, in that I had mentioned how it is important to write research paper, how college image will improve, and for AICT purpose or accreditation purpose, how it will be effective. You will earn points from that. All these things I mentioned in that, and on that basis, I got it sanctioned too. That is only I wanted to share.
Superb, ma'am. Superb. Thank you so much, Chandrasekhar. We have real stalwarts here today in the audience, and I really appreciate that you have even published 15 papers already. So coming back, so I would like to show. So I was mentioning about grants, right? So I would like to show the real example. So let us go to education and skills. Okay. So Chandrasekhar, I am a chief librarian, and from a university or a college, and see here there is a great opportunity for me, Chandrasekhar. If I submit to this particular grant proposal, I'm sure maybe I may get a promotion, because see here, see the research.
$80,000?
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, my management may consider to promote me, or I'm going to definitely get a lot of appreciation. So now the question is, how should I learn to apply? See, if I Google, I can get so many things here. I mean, so many research opportunities or grant opportunities, right? So let me click on this. Okay. So now I'm a librarian. Okay, so now I would like to bring some grant. 80,000 USD is a big amount, Chandrasekhar. It's almost 5.6 crores, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, 5.6 crores. That's a good amount, in fact. Okay, so here I have to really check whether I am eligible or not, Chandrasekhar. That is important, right? Yeah, I cannot apply to each and every proposals, right? So here it is. See, I'm a Chandrasekhar. I'm a chief librarian of a private educational institute, and I am eligible. My organization is eligible, and 31st July. So I have almost 13 days more to submit to this particular grant. Okay. Okay. Now this is by Embassy of USA, and so what I do is I will read this. So this is one of the rainbow dialogues. I mean, something related to basically psychology and behavior, etc., etc. See, the good part is that, Chandrasekhar, in my group of institutions, I have lecturers, professors who are already doctorate in psychology or in behavior science, etc. So we are eligible to apply to this particular grant. Now the question is, how should I apply? Is it not? So that is what we are learning, right? So let us go and click. Take some time. Yeah. So this is grants.gov. Okay. I have already downloaded it. If at all, if we find some, okay, related documents is already here. Okay, so let me click on related documents, Chandrasekhar. I can see the full announcement. So what exactly is needed? Okay, so I'm a chief librarian of an educational institute, Chandrasekhar, and I would like to submit for this grant. That is my intention. Okay. Now I have clicked here. I went on grants.gov, and here it is. So organization information, that anyway I know, right? I can submit it. Anyway, I know. So suggested application format they have given, Chandrasekhar. I think I should click on this and I should check this. Okay. See, Chandrasekhar, so this is a very great, very easy thing. I need not to bother too much about how to write a proposal and all, mainly because they have already given the template. Okay, so I can definitely use this template for this particular proposal. Okay, this is a type of proposal, or probably I can use it for something else. If at all I want to submit a proposal to BARC or to Government of Karnataka. Okay, so I was speaking with Vice Chancellor. So they submit so many proposals to Indian Agriculture Research Institute, or ICAR, Indian Council of Agriculture Research. Yeah, so similarly, I'm sure in engineering also there will be many organizations. Okay, so now here you can see, let us, we don't have much time, so let us browse. So background of the organization, key personnel. This is very, very important. This is very important. Project partners, whether only SDM is doing it, or SDM ke saath even Manipal is also working in this. So past grants, whether I have taken any grants, and what is my strength and capacity of the organization. So I have, say, for example, I have to train a couple of people in India itself in this particular grant itself or the project itself. So how many classrooms I have, what is the infrastructure I have, and all those stuff I can add. So project information. So all these executive summary and project justification here. Just now, ma'am mentioned about I gave justification. This is very, very, very important. Okay, very important. You have to justify in the proposal. It is called meet. Today is Sunday, and I'm sure many people, when I say meet, I'm not talking about not that meet. I'm talking about the body of the proposal. So this is a very important thing where you talk about your strengths and the deliverables. You talk about how you really ensure the outcome. You talk about the project plan, etc. Okay, so project goals and objectives. So already they have given, see here, project innovation, project activities. So broadly in these lines you have to write. Okay, broadly. I'm going to share this template. However, there is no template for it. It all depends on the context. Okay, only thing is you have to be clear. You are clear in terms of objectives. How do you deliver, and costing, budgeting, etc. Okay, let us come back, Chandrasekhar. Yeah. So now probably yeah. So we talked about reviewing the proposal. Okay, we talked about even writing a proposal, both, and broadly we talked about what are the things we have to look at it. Okay, now Chandrasekhar, there is a opportunity. Okay, for all of us. Government of Karnataka Higher Education Department asked us to submit a proposal for pilot project and research study on usage of audio books in college libraries in Hyderabad, Karnataka region. Okay. See, this is a wonderful opportunity. Pilot project and research study on usage of audio books in college libraries in Hyderabad, Karnataka. It's a pilot study. Okay. Project estimation is about INR 5 crores. Duration is 6 months. Funded by Hyderabad, Karnataka Development Board and CSR of JSW Foundation. Now, the question is to the audience, how do you really approach it? What will you do?
I would show my expression of interest. What do you say? I'm not sure whether that's the right term. I mean, I'll show I'm interested in this particular opportunity first. Then obviously they would study my background. I mean, who am I? What I do? What are the eligibility I have? All those things. And obviously, once they give when they call for the request for the proposal or RFE, then I would definitely get a structure like what exactly they are looking at, by when I have to give all this one I would get, and accordingly I would bid for the same.
Yeah, awesome. So we let us look at one more answer. Anybody? Yep. So you got the problem statement, right? Problem statement or the objective.
Opportunity. Yeah.
Opportunity. Anybody? Let us take only one more. That's it.
I may add why I am interested in that project.
Perfect. Perfect. Anybody else? Okay. So, these are all broad things anyway. So it once again depends on various contexts. So I thought of taking a real example, or the real opportunities like this. Okay. This is not the real one. However, you can get so many opportunities like this. There are so many. I'm telling. So this is a requirement, or this is opportunity: pilot project and research study on usage of audiobooks in college libraries. This is very bit of innovation, I hope, and which is funded, and 6 महीना में करना है, and supported by a CSR agency as well as by the government, say 50-50. Okay, now what I do? So researching the target audience before submitting a proposal. So Chandrasekhar mentioned that I will submit a EOI, expression of interest. That is perfectly correct. Perfectly correct. And before that, Chandrasekhar, I need to know what is the objective. Thoda, I mean, samajh le. Let me understand which is the department. Here we have mentioned higher education department. So what are the vision, what are the objectives of higher education department, so that can I write a proposal in line with the voice of the requirement? See, for example, abhi JSW Foundation hai, so that is also funding it, right? So when they are funding it, what is that they are looking for? So obviously, they are talking about Hyderabad, Karnataka. That means they would like to improve the the learning abilities of the students of Hyderabad, Karnataka area. Is it not? So let me study what is happening in Hyderabad, Karnataka area. What is the literacy rate? What is the, say, placement ratio? How many people enter into higher education? So if I study those things, and if I really understand what is that my funding agency, that is higher education department, or HKDB or JSW Foundation is looking for, okay, then accordingly I can talk. Is it not?
True.
Otherwise, what happens? Otherwise, what happens, Chandrasekhar? See, higher education department wants to know about Ramayana, and I am writing about Mahabharata. Is it?
Yeah. It's
Okay,
not
so
about telling what I have. It's about meeting their requirement, right? Yep. Correct.
yeah, proposal in line with the voice of the target audience. Okay, be very clear and concise. This already we have spoken, and reader friendly proposal. Okay, so I wanted to show this, but yeah, I don't think I will be able to, because of time constraint. Okay, is this formal one, external, etc., internal one, extra, etc. Let me go to, yeah, very briefly, these are not the templates. However, if you want to submit a proposal, what?
Sir,
Yeah,
sir,
please.
I can add one point.
Yes.
While writing for this proposal, first I have to look about the availability of the audio books available. That
Correct.
availability is very important. Then only I can go for the usage and the benefits.
Yes, ma'am. I completely agree with you. So I'll tell you, ma'am, why I mentioned that. Okay, I'll tell you why I mentioned that. So in fact, one of the, not Karnataka, one of the state is trying this. Okay, the funding is more, in fact, 9 crores, and the audio books, the researcher, it's called pilot project. So that is why they fund you. They fund, say, let us say, take the example of SDM itself. So SDM is a huge group of institutions, and you have all the experts, HODs, doctorates, and experts. So say, for example, so say for 5 different subjects, SDM has to prepare audiobooks. Okay, and then you have to conduct a detailed pilot study and research. So that costs, right? To creation of audiobooks costs. So that is why the government, basically government or any funding agency, will give you fund. Okay, the real question is, so how?
Creation.
Yes, SDM will create, and how
Okay.
SDM will conduct the research. Now the question is, whether SDM has, experts in those areas, whether SDM has researchers. So those things you have to write in the proposal.
How
Get it?
eligible they are. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Eligibility criteria. Yeah, correct.
Awesome, awesome, awesome. So, of course, I mean, this template is not a standard one. You can make changes here and there. However, in majority of the cases, especially in the universities, they follow this. Okay, a cover page, add your logo and name of the institutions or institution. Okay, if it is a group of institutions. Title, say for example, this is the title, pilot project and research study on usage of audiobooks in college libraries in Hyderabad, Karnataka. Okay, title page. So title and title page, you can add it on the same page or you can make the changes. So, I mean, whatever, both are okay. I mean, there's no hard and fast rule. Prepared by is very important. So prepared by, say, Latur University, submitted to higher education secretary, higher education department, address and date. So a brief letter of note. This sometimes people add or may not add. So brief letter of note is that okay, on this such and such date you have called for expression of interest and we are submitting the proposal hereby, something like that. I mean, you talk about briefly talk about your organization and then you convey on the letter of note that you are submitting a proposal. That's it. Just for 4-5 line letter. That's it. Table of content. So subject with page numbers. So this is important. And of course, illustrations. Sometimes, people add this. Sometimes people will not add this. Emphasis on the visuals. What if you have added a lot of visuals, then what those visuals are for. Okay. Executive summary is very important. So this is basically the preparatory parts. Okay, so this is not the body of the proposal. This is before you start introduction, etc. Background, introduction, context, discussion. How you do it and all those stuff will come in the next part. Okay, this is before. Okay, preparatory parts. Executive summary. So you very briefly talk about how you do it, what are the outcomes you are going to achieve. I mean, it's very brief to the point. Okay. So heart of the proposal is basically a body section, a detailed explanation on who you are. Okay, I'm SDM. We have say group of institutions, or I'm a engineering college from from South Canada, etc., etc. So you talk about your strengths, etc. How will you do the work? So that is important. You have to explain in detail what who are all. Yeah. Yes.
Not not sure who is speaking. There is somebody's mic is on. I think Ashok's mic is on. Ashok, would you like to say something? Not sure. I think I'm muting him. Yeah, continue, sir.
Okay, no problem. So yeah, I mean, it's more of previous experiences, evidences, and prior success, and any awards or extraordinary achievement you have done. See, for example, if you talk about social research, let us give the example. So Ajim Premji University and Ashoka universities are well known for that. So similarly, your education institute may be specialized in particular area, is it not? So maybe let us take the example of TIS Mumbai, TISS. So they are more into social science, social research, and HR related. So let us take some IITs. Definitely, they are more into technical aspects and if we take say Institute of Science and Education Research, so they are more into the traditional our physics, chemistry. I mean research in physics, chemistry, etc. So yeah, so you have to talk about your strengths or your extraordinary achievements, and of course metrics to measure outcomes. How do you really measure outcomes? Okay, so how do you really end? So in fact 90% of the proposal is covered in the introduction and body of the proposal. However, you can basically you can once again talk about the benefits or strengths, conclusions, recommendations, and this is important. The fourth one, action plan. How do you really how do you really deliver? And you can give the deadlines, dates, and your actions. Then that is really good. and any expected action you expect from the reader or the person to whom you are going to submit the proposal. So for example, in this case, what higher education department has to do, whether they have to give permission to conduct the conduct the research in 1 month, or whether they have to say disburse 50% of the amount in say 3 months. So those things you have to write. So these are all broad guidelines. However, these are not the templates. It depends on the context. It depends on to whom you are submitting. It depends on various things. However, broadly, we follow these rules or follow these templates.